And good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Britain Sports Network. We're at the Kresge Gymnasium tonight on the campus of Albion College. Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy here as we get ready for our first ladies broadcast of the year, Jimmy. And I'll tell you what, Doreen Carden has her women's basketball team representing this year.
Yeah, fantastic start to the season. I believe a 12-2 overall record, and really looking dominant. Almost put 100 up the other night. 98 in a victory, and they've already scored over 100 points another time this season. So this is a team that's not only primed for a good season, but also every night they step on the court, capable of beating anyone in the MIAA. And if you're a fan of offensive basketball, they're capable of putting triple digits up on the board as well. So it's a well-balanced, very quick, very scrappy team, and they have a lot of scorers, so there's depth and diversity on the floor in terms of who's going to get the ball in a key possession, who's going to be relied on depending on who the situations are out on the floor. It's not just a one or two person team. This team goes pretty deep as well, Jim.
Yeah, they really do. Now, unlike the men who just started conference play here last week as we open up the year of 2020, the ladies have been playing in the MIAA for a little bit. In fact, this will be the second time that these two teams will have seen one another, as the Lady Britons went to Alma here back in December, and they actually snuck one out that night, 65-62, back on the 7th day of December before the holiday even got started, to open everything up. And at that time, the Britons were looking to keep things going and make things happen, and that was pre-Hope game, because again, that Hope game that they've already played this year, where they got beat by a bucket there at Hope, will kind of lead you to believe that maybe this is a basketball team that's going to be competing for that number one spot this year. But this is one of the teams in Alma here tonight that is a defensive-minded team. It's a team that doesn't score an awful lot of points in a night. They only score 58, but they only let the other team score 57, where the Brits are accustomed to scoring something more like 77 on a Wednesday night here at the Kresge. So defense against offense tonight. It was a defensive struggle in that game back in December, Jim.
And you look at the way that game unfolded. Alma did have the lead 25-16 after one quarter. It's that second quarter that really blew the entire game apart. Albion ran off 23-7 second quarter and had a 39-32 lead. But that second quarter was really the game, because you look at the way the rest of the game was played. 16-13 Albion in the third quarter, and Alma actually outscored them 17-10 to make the game a little closer than maybe they wanted for a 65-62 victory for the Britons. They were 8-0 as a result of that game, so they remained perfect on the season. That was their first conference tilt as well. Alma had lost one previous MIAA game, and that loss dropped them to 0-2 in the conference. But again, to your point, you know, a good offense and a solid defense, it's going to be obvious, I think, pretty quickly in a game like that, which of those two strengths is going to manifest itself the most. And if you're Coach Carden, I think the thing that's going to help you feel at ease with a game like tonight with two closely tangled teams is you're going to need to get off to a fast start. And you can't allow that 25-16 deficit in the first quarter. You're going to want something closer to what quarter two the last game showed. You're going to want that double-digit lead going into the second quarter. Then the good defense kind of maybe gets a little sloppy because teams tend to start taking more chances. And if you're not as strong on offense, you dig yourself too deep a hole, it's hard to come back. So if you're Coach Carden, I think you really want that strong first quarter the way quarter number two last time started.
The Alma team is a relatively young team. When you take a look at their starting five, Madison Robbins is a freshman out of St. John's, Michigan. Madison Hill, so we got two Madisons starting tonight, is a senior out of Midland, Michigan. Then you're going with Aretha Humphreys. I love that name, and obviously any young lady whose name Aretha needs to be coming from Detroit, I would think, and she indeed is a Detroit native. Hannah Thielen from Powamo, Michigan, is a 5'5" sophomore. Humphreys a sophomore as well, and then they round things up with their starting five with Jenny Brandt, who is the number 3 rebounder in the conference. She is a 6'3" junior. So if you look at the team, 5'5", 5'5", 5'7", 5'5", 6'3", and Brandt is the young lady in the middle that is there to kind of clog things up and pull down that defensive rebound and leave you to that one and done. Hopefully, obviously, in Alma's side, especially with their first-year head coach, Sammy Sturmont. Sammy comes in here. She's a 17 graduate of Northwood University. Played 4 years there for the Lady Timberwolves, and this is her very first year as a head coach. She was the JV coach since 2017 at Alma.
But the other thing to remember about that first-year head coach is she's been their interim coach 2 times already. So not only has she coached the JV team for a couple of years, but she does have experience as an interim coach leading the varsity level team. A lot of familiarity with not only the school and the team, but also has done a good job recruiting some of the players who you're going to see tonight. So put an asterisk next to the first-year head coach, because I kind of saw the same thing, that, wow, first-year head coach, usually that means it could be kind of an up-and-down kind of season. But there is that 2 times being the interim coach familiarity with kind of how to run the ship, so to speak. Not
her first time to sit on that bench and be the top person on that bench. And so it'll be an interesting night here of basketball for the Alma Scots, who come in tonight as a situation where they are down in the MIAA into a point right now really where they're not competing. It's kind of one of those weird things, and we'll look at the standing here in a few minutes. But we said this on the way up. The MIAA seems to have a tendency to have 5, maybe 6 really good teams, and then by the midway point where we are right now, a couple of those drop out and you're down to the top 3 or the top 4, and you're fighting for your life if you get off to a bad start, and that is kind of what has happened to Alma tonight as we take a look at that MIAA standings right now. Obviously, Hope ranked in the number 3 spot in the country right at this point in time, 5-0 and 14-0 overall. The Brits follow right behind that, along with Trine at 4-1, 12-2 for the Britons. And boy, that game they played in Hope there about a month ago, Jimmy, was a dogfight. Came right down to the end.
45-43 the final in that contest, and that's uncharacteristic of both of those squads, but it just goes to show how even the top part of the conference is and how even it's going to be down the stretch. This is going to be some exciting basketball as we get into January and into February. This really is going to be a tough fight. Whoever ends up hosting the MIAA tournament on the women's side is really going to have gone through some serious battles to get there.
They really will. You see Calvin there at 4-2 as well. St. Mary's at 3-2. Alma at 2-4. So they're looking at this one tonight, I'm sure, as a must-win on their calendar. Kalamazoo at 1-4, Olivet at 1-5, and Adrian the only team that is yet to win a game and conference in this 2019-2020 basketball season, and they're 5-8 overall on the year. But let's talk about a couple things that have happened since we were here last to do the men's game last Wednesday night. A couple of milestones have been reached here by the ladies on the basketball team. Let's start first of all with the coach, because Doreen Carden got win number 300 against Adrian here 2 games ago.
Yeah, 300 wins, and she's continued to build on that now, and what's expecting to be a very successful season. But boy, that is a tremendous milestone. She earned that on January 8th, as you mentioned, of this year. And needless to say, there were a lot of happy people on the bench and in the stands. And include you and I, Jim, in that cheering squad. That we know Coach Carden a little bit, and we certainly congratulate her on a very impressive 300-win milestone.
Doreen Carden is 301 at 187 now in her coaching career. She is in her 19th season here at Albion, an Oakland University graduate. And I think the thing that stuck out to me, Jim, out of 18 seasons that she has completed right now, 14 of them ended up in winning campaigns, and that is something that very few coaches have the ability to do. At some point in time, the talent dries up, and the record dries up with it. In Doreen's case, 14 out of 18 seasons, they've been positive.
And you look at, if you're a fan of not only, youth sports, college sports, even professional sports, especially in the world of professional sports, you see teams kind of go really up and down, or you see teams with a long string of losing seasons, and you look at what are the contributing factors to that. Stability is the thing I always go back to. And you talked about Coach Carden and the majority of her seasons being winning seasons. The fact that she's been here a long time has put a tremendous program together, has stability. So if you're a high school senior right now, maybe you're watching this broadcast, you're thinking about considering where to go and play ball next year. You look at coaches who are tenured, have been there a while, run great programs, expect a lot out of their players, but also expect a lot out of the students, so you get the most of the academic side. And you know that all the hard work and the results are going to pay off, and it's tremendous to see the results pay off for Coach Carden.
It really is. When you look at a player standpoint here tonight, one of the young ladies that are a member of the Brits hit the 1,000-point mark just the other day, and that has to make Coach Carden happy as well, as Emily Burness hits 1,000 points there in her career here at Albion.
And Emily became the 10th Albion women's basketball player to reach the 1,000 career point total. Hit that basket early in the third quarter in the victory against Olivet. She ended up with 17 points on the day and officially has 1,008 points for her career. And Jim, there's another young lady who is on the doorstep of 1,000 points as well. Rain Hinton has 966 points. So she's probably 2 games away at this point of 1 if she really goes off tonight. And she can certainly do that. But 966 for Rain Hinton, just 1 or 2 good games away from also becoming now the 11th player to reach the 1,000-point plateau.
Rain Hinton, who has been the MIAA Player of the Week 3 times already in this basketball season, hoping maybe to do it 1 more time or 2 more times, maybe down there towards the end of the year where it's tournament time and you're playing in the MIAA. You always like to be the Player of the Week when you're in that finals game, because that normally means that you had the game that brought the victory and the championship back home to Albion here. And so we'll see whether Rain can reign supreme there in the MIAA at least 1 more time before the year is over. When you take a look at the ladies for the Britons here tonight, Elena Welker is the new face in the bunch. She's a 5'8" freshman from Dearborn Heights. Amanda Larson, who is from Howard City, Michigan. And a shout out to the Larson family tonight, because there are several of them I've been told that are going to be watching the ball game tonight. I saw Grandpa David here tonight before the ball game, and we chatted for a minute or 2. She's a 5'11" sophomore from Howard City. Evelyn Wishmeyer from Lake Orion, a senior, 5'11". Rain Hinton, then again a junior, 6 foot tall, and Rain this year is number 2 in scoring in the league, number 4 in rebounds in the league, and the number 1 lady shooter in the league this year, as she's shooting 54% from the floor, which is a pretty impressive effort on her part. And then finally, Emily Burness from Waterford, Michigan, a 5'11" senior. So the Britons tonight seem to have a little edge on the backboard and the glass at 5'11", 6 foot, 5'11", 5'11", and 5'8". But we'll see how that translates in a basketball game once we tip it off in about 10 minutes here at the Kresge Center.
And Jim, we've talked for a few minutes now about how the individual player success and team success has shown itself in a tremendous win-loss record. But one thing we have not touched on yet that I'm proud to announce is, for the first time, I think, in the 5 years that we've been calling the Britons Sports Network, the women are ranked in the top 25 in the country. They received some votes to get in, and they're in a tie with SUNY Geneseo, sorry. You can see there 2 teams tied in at the 24 spot in the national coaches poll, and the Britons were not ranked previously, but that 12-2 record good enough to get them a tie for 24th in the country, and that's just another feather in the cap for the young ladies on the floor and the hard work they put in the gym and leading up to the work on the court, not only at home but on the road and the neutral sites as well, because they played some pretty tough competition before the league even started, and I think that's prepared them well for teams like Trine, teams like Hope, and tonight teams like Alma as well.
No doubt about that, and you see Hope sitting up there in the number 3 spot. If you flip it over and you look at D3 basketball this week, they sit just outside the 25, but they did receive almost, I think it was 30 votes this week, so they are on the cusp of maybe being in the top 25 in both of the polls here if they continue this winning streak that they have going on right now.
Yeah, and it's all about just taking care of your business, because you and I talked about it, how this is it's kind of crunch time for a team like Alma. You don't want to fall to the bottom part of the pack too soon, because it's really difficult to get back up at that point. And there'd be nothing finer if you're an Alma Scots player or fan than coming here the week that the Britons crack the top 25 and then knocking them off on their home floor. And so, they're going to be gunning for an upset victory tonight. and the Britons need to take care of business. And by taking care of business, playing in a good MIAA conference, that standing should continue to go up.
The Brits here coming in the ball game tonight, having won 3 in a row. They started back out in the holiday tournament there in Texas with a win over Concordia, Texas, 88-62. Then the Adrian game, 65-47. And the last game they played was against Olivet. The Brits went off for 98 points, 98-7 with the winner over Olivet. The next 3 games for the Britons put them out on the road to Trine here on Saturday afternoon. Then they're home to Calvin and St. Mary's. For the Alma Scots, they're coming in with 2 losses out of their last 3 as they beat Kalamazoo 71-41. Then they lost to Hope 66-48. And just recently on the Saturday, they lost to Trine 56-38. When they're done with this one, they go on the road to Hope, and then they'll be home to Adrian and Olivet. It should be an interesting basketball game tonight between these two. They always play one another tough, and we'll also keep an eye on the men who are in Alma tonight playing basketball on a Wednesday night in the MIAA, because the Albion men also putting up some good numbers this year for their coach, Jody May, as well.
And it's, again, we'll certainly keep you posted on the scores of not only the Britons men, but also the rest of the women's and men's action. You can get all the information on Britons Winter Sports by going to gobrits.com. Of course, you can also send us an email when you're watching tonight. Let us know where you're tuning in, who you're rooting for. If you want to give a shout out, we'll be happy to say hi to you on the air. And that's webcast@albion.edu. And again, gobrits.com for all your winter sports Albion College action.
Tell you what, it should be a good basketball game. There's a decent crowd as they work their way into the gymnasium tonight, but it is not going to be packed by any means. But at the same time, this gym carries a lot of noise with it, so it will be a loud crowd here tonight. I think before we get much farther, I also want to send a shout out tonight, if he's watching, to Bobby Lee, the fine SID here at Albion College. Bobby has been a wonderful guy to take care of us for the 5 years that we've been around. A little under the weather tonight, will not be with us tonight, and we saw his wife tonight, Nikki, and his son Ian, and we wish Bobby the best if he's out there watching the ball game tonight. We'll try to make it happen without you, Bob, but we're missing you tonight, buddy, and we're sending out good vibrations and good thoughts, and we're hoping you're back here with us as soon as you possibly can be. It kind of feels a little weird not having Bobby Lee up here to greet us when we come up the steps, Jim.
Yeah, but we look forward to having him back soon, and that's the friendship matters a lot, and we certainly are thinking about him, and we're missing him tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing him again real soon.
No doubt about that. We're about 2 minutes out for the tip-off of tonight's basketball game. Both teams getting warmed up. Brits will be in their whites tonight, and the ladies from Alma will be in their black uniforms. The ladies from Alma won the JV game tonight. I didn't catch a final score, but they were up by about a dozen when we came into the gym late in that basketball game. So the Lady Britons are going to try to change that here in the varsity contest. And I would have to believe that this is going to be a pretty focused bunch tonight. I don't think Doreen Carton's going to let them take a night off, Jim, just because they're playing a team who's towards the bottom of this conference tonight. You get that accolade, you get in the top 25, and I think that gets Doreen's coaching skills sharpened and honed a little bit more, and I think all these young ladies are going to be ready for the contest here tonight.
A good start and a national ranking is going to do one of two things for you, Jim. The players are either going to start listening to and start believing the hype, or it's going to make them hungry to keep making things better. And that's where the coaching and the stability of Coach Carton is going to come in. I think she's going to have them laser focused, and I think she's going to have them understanding that being tied for 24th in the coaches poll in the country isn't good enough. Now let's strive for 20. Now let's try to crack the top 15. More importantly, let's try to at least go home and home with Trine and Hope. If not, I mean, it's the best you can do with Hope.
Yep.
But, they still have 2 games against Trine coming up, and Trine hosted the conference tournament, postseason tournament last year. So, that's the measuring stick. You have to go home and home against Hope, and then you have to try to at least get one, if not both, against Trine. And, that's where your focus has to be. It has to be tonight, taking care of a good opponent, And then it has to be just game by game. You have to keep improving and doing your best.
And you don't want to look past this one tonight because you've got Trine coming up on Saturday afternoon down in Angola, Indiana. With that, the buzzer has sounded. It's time for us to get the starting lineups and the national anthem. You're watching the Britain Sports Network tonight. We're at the Kresge Center here in Albion College. Let's head on down to the floor for the introduction of the players and the national anthem. So, don't know exactly what happened, but hopefully he's doing okay. ready for basketball tonight. One little change there in that starting lineup tonight for the Alma Scouts. So go a little bigger was Emily Long from the city of Dayton, Ohio. It's 6'1" freshman averaging 8 points a game. Will start instead of Madison Robbins this evening, who's a 5'5" freshman. So that evens up the height just a little bit, Jim, as you bring the freshman into the ball game there to help solidify that front court.
And you look at the last game, you wonder why you make a change like that. Emily Long in the last contest against the Britons, 2 of 6 from the floor, 3 of 4 from the charity stripe, but 7 defensive rebounds and those 7 points.
Yeah.
So you look at why you bring her in. You don't want to give up second chance point opportunities for the Britons to allow them to build an early lead. And you also want to give the Scots second chance point opportunities to not only stay in the game, but again, they're looking to do just what they did last time, get off to a strong start.
Thielen and Hinton will jump center, and the ball gets tipped into the back court and will be recovered there by Welker, and the Britons will have the first opportunity of the night. 4 quarters of basketball here on the Britain Sports Network. Let us know that you're out there. Welker drives along the baseline and then tries to bounce it along the baseline. Ball bounces out of bounds, and it will be Alma Scots basketball.
Looks like she was going to Burness in the corner for a spot up 3 right there, but good defense to cut her off. Use the baseline as your 6th defender.
Britain's going to play a little 4-court press here to open things up, and no problems getting through as Thielen goes end to end, finds the wrong end of the backboard, and the Brits have the basketball back.
They try to post up Hinton. I don't know if that's Rain's game as much as it's working maybe top of the key down.
Wishmeyer, the good thing about Evelyn here is she does not have that shoulder brace on tonight as Burness drives and misses her first shot of the evening, and Thielen's there for the rebound.
And the shot block, kinda, Jenny Brandt right there, number 42, just using those long arms, getting in the way. Travel.
Humphreys with the extra step there. She thought she had a cutter coming across that lane. It didn't materialize, and she was kind of in no man's land at that point in time. But yeah, we've seen Wishmeyer basically the last couple of years with a little problem with that shoulder.
Always had it.
Yep. Ever since we've been able to watch any basketball games, as Welker goes hard to the rim and ends up hard on the floor here at the Kresge Center. First foul of the night will go against the Alma Scots.
They'll get Hannah Thielen on the foul right there, the 5'7" senior from Pewamo, Michigan, with the harm. We'll send the Brits to the line for a pair, looking for the first points of the night.
Welker hits 7.5 out of 10, 75%er. Hits the first one. Britons are, with a 2-shot foul. Obviously, the other 4 stand back at the back end, doing a little bit of strategy on the backside.
Saw that in the men's game the other night, too, that they rarely sent somebody to the line on the first shot.
Second one is also perfect, and the Brits have the first points of the night, and they're up 2-0.
A little bit of full court pressure right here.
Humphreys able to get across. Wishmeyer knocks the ball away from her. Britons come up with it. That's Amanda Larson. To Welker, who points Larson to the right side.
Who picked up her dribble in the tough spot right there.
Kicks it to Larson in the corner for the 3. Just a little bit short, but Wishmeyer's right there for the rebound. Well, I'll tell you what, I think she would have liked to gone up a little quicker. Thought she was going to be contested by Humphreys and had about 2 or 3 steps there. Ball gets kicked out of bounds. It'll be Britain's ball, and the foul will go against the Alma Scots.
I think they might get Emily Long, 15 on the whistle, looking for the scoreboard confirmation. Didn't see one, but I think that's who that was on right there, Jim, going to the basket.
On the floor as the ball comes into Wishmeyer. To Welker in the corner, drives the baseline, leaves a little short, gets her own rebound. As she goes up the second time, we've got another whistle and another foul. And this one will go against
Jarvis. I think Jackie Jarvis on the harm, and that'll be another 2-shot foul. So 2 of the 3 fouls against the Scots have been 2-shot fouls. 3 team fouls for the Scots, none yet for the Brits.
Warchuk, Stasha Warchuk checks in from Marquette, Michigan, and taking a seat is Emily Long as the first free throw is good. And Welker now with all the points on the evening so far. 3 charity tosses here for the Britons.
Have to take advantage of these opportunities. Left that one a little short. Whoa.
That's pretty much right up with her average here. 75%. She's hit 3 out of 4 tonight as the Brits send some pressure with Larson to the midcourt stripe. Wishmeyer has it go off her hands and out of bounds. It'll be Alma's basketball on the other end.
That was a good job by Wishmeyer right there. Stepping out in front, but not totally selling out for that one, because if she whiffs, it leads a wide open 3 in the corner.
Hill has Larson on her, goes down inside. Thielen throws it back outside. The three-point shot is a little bit long. Wishmeyer there for the rebound, and the Britons are on the run.
And you put the big bodies in the game, Jim, and they don't get underneath the basket to try to rebound the ball, so there's a disconnect there on defense for the Scots.
Ball tried to go into Rain, hitting over her head, and the turnover gives the ball back to the Scots. Everybody here wants a walk, but no whistle.
Yep, myself included.
Hill with the basketball for the Scots. Goes to her left hand and then gives it off in the corner. Drive by Warchuck, puts the ball up. Foul on the floor. It'll go against the Britons, and it'll go against Amanda Larson. That'll be her first of the night.
So the first team foul for the Brits. 7:38 to play, quarter number 1. Still 3-0. Albion leads. Scots looking to get on the board.
Inbound pass comes deep to Thielen.
Long 4 count getting that ball in too. Good defense.
Warchuck gets caught up, so she kicks it back out to Thielen.
Trying to work it inside.
To the big person, Jenny Brandt. Thielen drives, scoops, no good. And the Britons right there with the Rain hitting to pull down the rebound.
Oh, bad pass.
Emily Burness had her mind on going to the bucket, and the pass behind her and in the hands of the Brits. So that's about 3 turnovers already now for the Britons here tonight, as the Scots taking advantage of some early miscues here.
Nice pass.
And a nice little bounce pass to Jenny Brandt, who has her first bucket of the night. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Yeah, for all the good things that the Brits have done, they've turned it over a lot, number 1. And number 2, they haven't made an offensive basket yet. Just free throws.
Wishmeyer has a very pesky defender in front of her. Throws it cross court. Welker drives, and this time the ball will find the backboard, and the soft bounce down through the rim and to the floor.
First field goal for the Brits, 5-2.
Warchuck gets cut off on the other end. Ball comes out, reset to Madison Hill. Hill at the midcourt stripe will set things up again.
High screen and roll. Cut off by Hinton. Good job.
Brits doing a good job keeping the ball out of the hands of the big center underneath Jenny Brandt, and that wide errant shot is retrieved very easily by Emily Burness.
It's a tough matchup for Hinton down low, though.
Yeah,
so they're going to have to work it outside and figure out a way to free her, maybe from the top. Nice pass.
Good cut underneath, and that's Amanda Larson with her first basket of the night. Larson getting 7 in the evening, and a great job there by Rain Hinton to set that screen so Larson could sneak down that baseline. And just like that, Alma quickly down the other end. Jenny Brandt with an easy 2.
Broke the press right there and left a 2-on-1.
Madison Hill with the assist on that play.
They really want to work that into Hinton, but she's being guarded very well so far by Brandt.
Kind of playing a zone with a man look as Hinton pulls up the free throw line and knocks that one down. 9-4 now, Britons.
There's your answer. She's not going to be open too much right underneath the basket. Step her out about 7-8 feet. It's tough to guard for the center.
Hinton is also another one of those people that look like they really put a lot of time in the training room over the summer. Jim, she looks like she's in the best shape of her life in the couple of years we've been watching Rain Hinton. Larson being real pesky on that basketball, and Madison Hill wishes she wasn't. Kick goes out for 3, and again that shot no good. Wishmeyer there to pull it off.
Just tough defense, and we've seen it from the men and the women now, Jim. It seems to be the calling card of the Albion Britons this year. Tough defense.
Welker druddles in, double team, looking for some help to Burness. Works around a Rain Hinton screen to Larson, down into Hinton. Hinton takes the big young lady to the rack and draws the foul.
That's your answer. You got to go about 5, 6, 7 feet out, get the ball. If you can get a clear out, she can probably break her down on the dribble, do a quick spin move, get to the basket, and usually she's going to be able to get the contact. Rain's a gamer. She knows how to position her body so she can still get the up and get a little bit of harm too.
Rebecca Ross checks in for the Britons as Amanda Larson will take her first breather of the night.
Hinton on the season only about a 68.7% free throw shooter, so misses the first one but should knock down the second.
Aretha Humphreys checks in for the Lady Scots along with Jackie Jarvis. And Jarvis brings the basketball into the front court. Dishes it off to Madison Robbins, who also came in on that last one. And we've got a foul that'll go against the Britons.
Tough call right there against Welker. She got ball, but on the follow through of the block, she touched the head. So that's going to draw the whistle.
Tiffany Burgess now checks in, and Wishmeyer will sit down for the first time tonight.
I think she's thinking that the ball was what hit the player in the head, not the hand, but the official saw different.
Robbins hits about every other one, 58%, or she gets the first one to go down. And it's a 10-5 ball game.
Robbins only getting about 5 a game on the season, so anything they can get scoring-wise to balance out to their benefit. 10-6, Britain's lead, 4:15 to play, quarter number 1.
4:14 in this first quarter, and I'll tell you, it's a little unusual since they made this change to quarters here last year. I still have to get myself acclimated to that. Hinton goes in, gets cut off underneath. Fishes that ball back outside, and a traveling call on Burness as she tries to make her way down that baseline.
Got that little hop when she caught it in the corner. And if you don't come down evenly on those 2 feet, then you try to step forward after the hop. That's 3 steps right there, and the officials will get you every time.
It's that darn hopping that always got me in trouble in the good old days as well. Almost a steal by Burness. Scott's working into the front court. 3-point jumper up, no good. Hinton fights for the basketball. They'll go to the floor with a jump ball.
Got to go to the Scots. That's the first tie ball of the game. They'll keep it. Still 10-6, 3:44 to play, quarter 1. Entertaining first quarter, Jim. But, man, the Brits, what could have been so far? Turned the ball over quite a bit.
They have.
Allowed the Scots to stay in it.
Stats are not up at this point in time, so I can't tell you for sure how many. But a nice job by Humphreys to work that ball in with a spin. And Aretha has her first points of the night and cuts the lead to 2.
Strong move in the paint, good spin, a little contact, but nothing to justify a whistle. And that's a strong move right there. The Scots needed that basket.
You can see why it's so difficult with the Scots. You really can't get inside. They play some pretty decent defense on the perimeter, but boy, when you try to drive it to the rim, there's 3 or 4 black jerseys that all of a sudden just corral you. Left-hander off the glass. Tiffany Burgess, did you call that? I think that's one you got to call.
That's a tough left-handed spin shot right there. Unnecessary nickel-dimer in the backcourt.
Reach in will go against Rebecca Ross. Ross out of Gaylord, a freshman, and she's actually number 3 in the conference for 3-point shots here this year as Wishmeyer checks back in, and Burness will take a seat. Again, if you're out there and you'd like to talk to us tonight, let us know where you are. Webcast at albion.edu. As you see right now, the head coach, Sammy Stormont, there on the screen. Young lady who took over this year, first year full-time as the head coach.
Has been an interim twice before and has coached the JV the last 2 years, as we mentioned.
Britain's come out with some good defense. I'll tell you what, this has been a defensive struggle here early. 4 to shoot, 3 to shoot. Ball's loose, Britain's basketball, and that's Ross with it.
Scots get back on defense in a hurry, though, Jim.
They really do.
Not too many transition opportunities. I don't think you're going to see too many transition opportunities with either squad. Nice
Lob pass goes in underneath, and a nice job waiting it out by Rain Hinton as everybody clears over the top. Hinton with the easy lay-in, and the Britons now back up on top by 6.
Your best bet, I think, right there is to either Matador or foul because you're not going to stop her.
Robbins goes coast to coast, and with a spin and reverse lay-in, cuts that lead back down to 4.
That was a move right there. That was impressive.
As they used to say, somebody's got to stop the ball, and they didn't that time, and Robbins made them pay for it.
It's about as close to a transition I think as you're going to get tonight.
Welker has Humphreys on her. Ball comes back out front. Wishmeyer not even looking to shoot at this point in time.
They're switching up bodies on Hinton. She's going to be facing 2 and 3 defenders tonight.
Hinton takes the extra step, and they're going to call her for it as she's trying to get around the tall trees that are lining the circle underneath that bucket.
Pivot.
Pivot one more time.
Unfortunately, one of those feet becomes okay, you weren't supposed to use that one anymore.
Brits double team in the backcourt, and the ball gets thrown off the feet of Rebecca Ross and will stay with the Alma Scots.
4 different players coming in.
Madeline Stanley comes in for the Britons.
Stasha Warchuk comes in as the sub for Alma. I think you had one other Brit come in as well. You're going to see a lot of subs tonight.
No doubt about that. I think you're going to have to. This is going to be a physical, hard-fought basketball game, so you're going to want to bring the fresh bodies off the floor. And again, a nice job by Jackie Jarvis to find a bit of an opening, and somehow the Britons defense hearted at the wrong time, and the ball game back down to a 2-pointer, 14-12.
It was the willingness to continue to drive one more step.
Burness with the crossover in the lane, looking for some help, kicks it down to Stanley. Ball is fought for on the ground, jump ball situation. This time it'll be Britain's basketball. I'll tell you, they're scrapping out there tonight, Jim.
I think something you said in the pregame about how easy it is to hit that mid-season point and fall to the bottom of the pack, and how hard it is to get back up. They know. You said it was a must-win game for the Scots, and they are playing like it is a must-win game.
Under a minute to play, 14-12 Brits. Burness gets the backdoor cut, and a nice job by Wishmeyer to find her. The assist goes to Wish, the bucket goes to Burness. 16-12, 43 to play in the first quarter.
You just have to be patient on offense for both of these teams.
Humphreys with a nice job to get down, set up, pull up, and that 8-footer goes in to make it a 2-point game again.
And that short pop, if you're not going to step out and guard her, she'll take that, and that's a very high percentage shot.
Humphreys hits 9 a night. Lob pass underneath, double team. Wishmeyer doesn't get the bounce, but the rebound goes to Stanley, and she goes back up. She gets hacked by Emily Long.
Like a lot of ball, but a little bit of body, and a little bit's all you need to draw the whistle. 16-14, 20.1 seconds to play here in quarter number one. The 5th team foul against the Scots.
Jenny Brandt will check in for Emily Long on this rebound.
And again, 3 of the 5 fouls against the Scots have been 2-shot fouls for the Brits.
Stanley a 50%er as this one catches nothing but cords.
No time like the present to change that statistic then, right?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Knock them both down.
That one was absolutely perfect. Whatever you did last time, do it again. How's that? This one's floating up again, and about the same result. Boy, I'll tell you what.
That one didn't touch much of anything on the way down. That landed and about stopped on the ground. So beautiful free throws right there. Extends the lead back to 4.
Madeline Stanley from Augusta, Michigan.
Shot clock is off. They should hold for 1.
Ball comes out from to Warchuk. Swings over to Humphreys, who throws one up a little too hard. Britons will have it, but not enough time to do anything with it, as the long heave will be after the buzzer. And at the end of the first quarter here tonight, the Britons are on top 18-14 in a ball game that has been hotly contested.
And Jim, you look at, again, we keep going back to the last time these two teams played. It was 25-16 Alma after 1. So if you're Coach Carden, you know that first quarter. You look at the way Alma's played pretty much everybody this season. That first quarter has been a tough one for the Scots. They've played strong. So to be able to have the lead, now the second quarter is the enigma for the Scots. Because you look back at the last game the Scots played, the last time they played the Britons, the second quarter seems to be where it just kind of all falls apart.
Well, that's being a Britons fan here tonight. We kind of hope that that's exactly what happens again here this evening.
If it does happen, though, it does kind of make you scratch your head as to, okay, what causes that to happen if there is a thing that happens. So it'll be very interesting to see, and we're about 30 seconds or so away from the start of quarter 2. And Jim, while we have a moment, let people know Britain Bound Days give admitted students the opportunity to sit in on a class, learn about Albion's learning opportunities, experience life on campus, and see popular areas of campus. Britain Bound Days are set for February 17, March 20, and April 17. Direct questions to the Office of Admissions, 517-629-0718, or visit albion.edu/admission.
Well, the Britons will come back out, and they will start things back up with their starting 5 again here tonight. Welker, Larson, Wishmeyer, Hinton, and Burness opens things up in quarter number 2 for the Brits. Humphreys behind her back, swings it over to Madison Hill. Down in the corner, a deep 3, and I'll tell you what, the Scots have not come close tonight. That was Stasha Warchuk. She hits 33% of them on the season. That wasn't anywhere close.
Good defense.
Nice block. Hinton stays with it. And then she'll draw the foul on the other side on Jenny Brandt.
That's the battle right there. It's great defense. Forced her to almost lose the handle and lose it out of bounds. But great offense by Rain Hinton to stick with the play and eventually draw the foul on the second chance opportunity right there. So it's a battle of wills. I mean, these are two really good teams. Don't look at the records.
Brandt with her second foul of the night will have to take a seat as Emily Eldridge comes into the ball game from Battle Creek, 6-foot junior. So there is some good size on this Alma Scots basketball team as Hinton drains both of them.
But they've also thrown 2 or 3 defenders at Rain Hinton so far in the first quarter. So subbing her out isn't the worst thing because they were going to do it at some point anyway.
We'll take a look at the men's right now. The men are up right now 12-8. About halfway through the first half, they're up at Alma tonight. So it's the night of the Britons and the Scots as that one goes off the iron and right into the hand of Emily Burness.
And low-scoring contest, too.
Yeah, no, well, again, the Scots this year have played everybody tough. Oh, a nice long three-point shot for Amanda Larson. And the first triple of the night goes to the young lady from Howard City. I believe that's 5 on the night now for Larson, but we don't have stats up here at this point in time. I'm sure they're coming. If I remember right, though, that's her second time connecting from the floor. Madison Hill swings it around to Humphreys.
Got a moving screen.
That'll happen every now and then. I'll tell you what, I've been impressed with Aretha Humphreys, though, the young lady from Detroit, the sophomore.
Playing with speed, power, and precision. That's a tough combination to guard.
She's got it all, and only a sophomore, so she's going to be fun to watch the next couple of years as she comes to play here with the Scots every year.
And that was just a simple turnover, Jim, not a foul, my correction.
Lob pass goes to Hinton, who gets double
defense
teamed in the jump ball thanks to Madison Hill. Will stay with the Britons.
That was great help defense right there, Jim. You saw that play open up. Hinton was open, but good help coming over the top. Low pointing that ball right there to get the tie.
Welker, we're inbounds to Wishmeyer.
Nice screen and roll.
Flips it to Hinton, and I think the ball went off of Hinton's hands.
Yep, she was the last one to touch. That's a good call by the official right there.
Emily Eldridge had touched it first, and I think it tipped it just far enough out of the way that Hinton had thought it was going to be one place. It turned out to be 6 inches farther towards that baseline and went over the end line off her fingertips and out of bounds. Britons with the biggest lead of the night at 8.
Nice cut, good defense. You're going to be hearing that a lot tonight, folks.
Burness and Larson on the double team as Burness with the show and go down the lane. Ball gets kicked. Jump ball this time, it's heading the opposite direction.
Yep, she had her beat off the dribble right there, Jim. Had a clear path to the basket and was going to lay that one in off the glass, but unfortunately that one went off the feet, and at that point it just became a mad scramble for the ball.
Jarvis in, Thielen out for the Lady Scots as they trail by 8 here early on in quarter number 2. Humphreys looking for the basketball. Britt's trying to deny her that ball. She spins. Here comes the double team, and the whistle will go against Wishmeyer, who says, man, I just went straight up. Humphreys in the act of shooting will go to the free throw line.
And Humphreys on the season a 70% free throw shooter. So
first one spins out. First foul of the quarter there for the Britons. And the second one catches nothing but cord. So 7-point contest now as Welker brings the ball up for the Brits. Humphreys picks her up. Welker off the screen from Larson to Burness. Burness back to Larson, and then Welker comes out to take the ball.
Britons need a 3 right here, Jim, just to kind of loosen things up and get the crowd back in it a little bit.
Welker with the double team, gets the ball back out front. Larson with 4 to shoot, has it rejected. 3, 2, 1, puts it up. It'll be a little bit short, and that will be a shot clock violation. Very good defense by the Lady Scots.
Yep, excellent defense by the Scots, and if anything is going to keep a team in a game, we saw it in the men's game the other night, and I think it's kind of been the Britons' calling card too this season, is that good defense is going to carry you through stretches where you're not putting points on the board. And the Scots have been a little cold, but the defense has kept them in it.
Tell you what, it's a defensive struggle at Alma tonight. 14-13 now, 7:20 left to go in the first half. The men on top of the men from Alma, up the road just a piece.
Check to make sure that ball fits in the basket.
Yeah, really, the way you don't see that, the Albion men being held to 14 points, 13 minutes through the first half. Shots no good by Eldridge. Rebound comes off to the Britons.
And when the Scots are missing tonight, they're missing wildly, Jim.
They really are. Humphrey steps in front of that pass that was heading over to Welker.
Numbers.
Ball back to Humphreys on the low block, puts it up, spins around, and finally goes in. And I'll tell you what, that young lady.
She came to play.
Yes, she did. 22-17, what was an 8-point lead has now shrunk to 5. Wishmeyer for 3, yes sir.
That was a must. And you hear the noise that results.
Wish hits 35% of them. That's her first try here of the evening.
Arguably the biggest basket of the first half so far for the Brits.
Sends the lead back up to its biggest spot of the night at 8 as it goes inside to Eldridge. Eldridge with some serious defense being played on her. And again, a wild shot that doesn't even get the backboard.
Do you make them pay, though?
Burness for 3, yes!
I guess that answers my
question. 28-17, Britons now with the biggest lead of 11 in the night.
Now you just have to play some tough defense.
And they have been doing that. It has happened on both sides. Oh, big screen by Madison Hill on
Good
Welker.
Screen too.
Yes, it was. Solid screen. Boy, Welker just absolutely ran out of real estate.
Lost
Ball
the handle.
gets a little bit behind the dribbling Stasha Warchuk. And the pickup will end up being Britain's basketball as we have wholesale substitutions.
Ross and Stanley check in for the Britons, Jim.
And on the other end, we've got, I believe that's Sarah Lesnecki. 40.
Yep,
Lesneski checks into the basketball game. Maybe I got a wrong number. Maybe that is 10 again, Warchuk that came back in. That's who that was. Looked like a 4 from up here when she turned, but now she turns in front of me. It's a 10. Another 3-point shot. This one with a little backspin for Emily Burness. That's 2 in a row for Emily.
Shooter's roll.
And it stretches the lead to 14.
The rims afford you that luxury when you reach the 1,000-point mark.
I think it does. She's been shooting these rims for a little while here at Albion College.
Dangerous pass.
Humphreys, the only young lady out here, that would have been major trouble. 8 seconds to shoot. Spins in the lane, has it blocked by Wishmeyer. Wish says, I've seen that move before, ma'am.
Off the feet.
Good try towards Rebecca Ross, and Ross just running out of real estate as that ball gets kicked out of bounds, and we'll get a first time out here of the night. It'll be called by the Alma Scots with the Britons on top 31-17 and 4:12 to play in the first half.
High school sophomores and juniors are invited to get a taste of what Albion has to offer. Albion 101 is scheduled for April 9th. Direct questions to the Office of Admission, 517-629-0718, or visit albion.edu/admission for more information.
Trying to go around the conference right now. We'll go up to the MIAA website and see if we can't grab a couple of scores for you here tonight. As the men still battling with Alma. It's all tied up 16 apiece now with 5:29 to play in the first half of basketball between the men from Albion and the men from Alma. Britons go back to that full court pressure. No problem whatsoever as the Scots break it in a hurry. That's Robbins. Drops it off at a wide 3-point shot that was nowhere close by Emily Long. Hey, as you said earlier, Jim, I'll tell you what, when they miss, they miss. They just
3-point shot is not their strength.
Has not gone down well for them tonight. There's no doubt.
A 28% free throw or 3-point shooting team on the season.
Burness with the Warchuk in her face. Brings it the other way for Stanley.
And a little more spacing on offense here. You have two players kind of clustering towards the ball.
Plenty of time, 8 seconds to shoot. This one thrown to Stanley, who's cutting towards the rim. And Welker thought she was going to pull up right around the free throw line and threw that one out of bounds. Stanley goes to the bench. Rain Hinton comes back in. Welker takes a seat, and on the floor is Rebecca Ross.
A challenging first half for Rain.
It has been.
It's been guarded well in the low block, though, so you have to give credit to the Scots for the good defense.
Well, when you're a 3-time MIAA Player of the Week, everybody knows you're coming. It's not like you're going to sneak up on anybody anymore.
No, they figure it out.
Wishmeyer knocked it up on the backboard. Britton's pulled it down. Rebecca Ross brings it to the front court. Ball gets wrestled out of the hands of Rain Hitton, goes out of bounds.
That was a nice block.
Jackie Jarvis was the young lady that put the pressure on the underneath.
Freshman just kind of reached that arm to her side and kind of behind her to get that block. That was well played.
Long inbound pass goes to Nicole Sweetland, who came into the ball game. Ball gets taken away by Humphrey. She's on the run, and a nice job getting around Emily Burness for the easy lay-in.
I'll tell you what, she's keeping them in this game single-handedly right now.
She really is. Don't have scores on the scoreboard tonight either, so I don't know how many she has scored tonight.
Too many.
But you are right, Jim. If it wasn't for Aretha Humphreys tonight, this would really be a blowout.
Have to take your hat off to her, though.
Yeah.
Because that young lady came to play tonight.
Emily Eldridge comes into the ball game there for Alma as the Britons take their first time out here of the first half. 31-19 as we check in again on the men, see where they're at this point. And now, you know what? It's always a fun situation, Jim, how these stats go, you know. What was a 16-16 game a minute ago is now a 32-22 game. Alma on top with 2 minutes to play in the first half. So, again,
it happens.
We kind of jumped there. 32-23 now as the Brits must be at the free throw line.
Makes you wonder, though, if sometimes maybe the information lags a little bit. Like,
yeah.
You know, we know that for the most part the stats are real-time stats and things like that, but it's either a tremendous offensive explosion by both teams or the stats lagged, and neither one. I mean, teams are capable of putting some serious runs together on the women's and the men's side, so nothing would surprise me.
Britain's only shooting 32% in Alma tonight compared to 41% for the Alma Scots. Britons are 0 of 8 from behind the three-point line tonight, too, on the men's contest. And Alma 5 of 13. There's the difference in the game as Wishmeyer works her way into the low post. Says, I can hit him from outside. I can hit him from 5 feet. 33-19 Britons.
And just a little bit of separation right there allowed that baby hook with the right hand to go in easy.
Ball comes out to Aretha. Almost lost it as a good job there by Sweetland to contest that dribble. 6 to shoot, and again a three-point shot that is well east or west of the rim. I'm not sure what direction we're looking at, but it was to the right of that rim by a good foot. It kind of looks like me out there shooting three-point shots right now.
Part of it also is, I think, rushing the shot.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you miss wildly like that, you're not squared up or you're not driving with your legs and your hips. Man, good defense. Look at the battle down low, Jim.
It is a battle underneath. Hitton rolls off the hip.
That was a continuation right there.
Foul's called on the floor. Rain had a second defender coming her way.
And that was Eldridge on the arm, and they say that was on the floor, so it wasn't. I mean, if it was in the act of shooting, it would have been an and one. So
Wishmeyer a little bit short. Saved by the Britons, but they're on the end line. Rebecca Ross steps out of bounds, and the ball will go over to the Scots, 33-19.
And as a coach, you can never really get upset at, going out of bounds under your basket for a rebound, because that's a player who's selling out for the ball.
Burgess in, Sweetland sits down for the Lady Britons.
It doesn't seem like a 14-point lead right now, does it?
No, not at all.
Seems like about a 4-point lead.
It has been a battle. Brits have had a good second quarter, though, again, Jim, and the Scots having a rough second quarter.
They've been quiet, yeah. And it's not for lack of effort.
Humphreys, with 3 people looking at her, is able to find one home as that one spins down and in. And again, Jim, I don't know how many points she's got tonight because the stats have not been working.
I would guess at least 8.
She's got 8 or 9 of them of the 21 that's been scored, that's for sure. Nice job by Burness to get away from her man and find an open backdoor cut.
Good answer right there, because you don't want the Scots right now, if you're the Brits, to get a little 4-0, 6-0 run and kind of sneak back into this game.
Like to take him to the dressing room down double digits, that's for darn sure.
I think you have to, Jim, because the Scots are going to play a strong second half. They've been a strong second half team.
3-point shot is good this time by Jackie Jarvis. So Jarvis out of Fowlerville, able to knock that one down. She hits 35% on the year. And the Britons now will slow things down with under a minute to play and an 11-point lead.
Might be their first 3 make of the game, and it comes at a critical juncture. They were trading 2s, and they really weren't making a dent.
Ross gets it back out front, kicks it down into the corner to Burgess. Burgess tries to drive. Ball gets to the ground. We've got a jump ball situation, and the arrow points towards the Scots.
Can't get a 2 for 1 here if you're Alma, so you're just trying to run the, I think every time we say they're going to hold for 1, then they go down and they shoot with 15 left on the on the shot clock. But in theory, you'd hold for 1 here because it's only about a second and a half difference between game clock and shot clock. Larson
back into the ball game for the final seconds of the first half as Rain Hinton will sit down. We got a special guest here at halftime, Ava Smith from the volleyball team, and our sideline reporter in football is going to join us here. Talk a little volleyball, talk a little bit of what's going on around Albion as the turnover gives the Brits one more try. Down to Wishmeyer. She's got time to shoot. A little bit short, and the tip will go out of bounds as the buzzer sounds. So the first half will be in the books here, and the Britons will take an 11-point cushion to the locker room tonight, 35-24 here on the Britain Sports Network. Now, Jimmy, I'll tell you, it was with a game that we're expecting. It's going to be a battle. We're going to step away for just a minute. When we come back, we'll try to get you some halftime stats. We'll look around the conference of both men's and women's play tonight, and we'll have a special guest as we'll bring Ava Smith in to help us do a little commentary here at halftime. Britain's on top, 35-24 here on the Britain Sports Network.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Oh no, what happened?
Dave.
Oh, I got this. Hey, kiddo.
Dad.
It's good though. Good. Try.
I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
Well, I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
Life's greatest achievements are born of its greatest challenges. Those times that call us to unite and work toward needed solutions. At Albion College, our strength lies in our tireless passion to do just that. Making connections that make an impact. Connections between driven students and devoted educators. Between a visionary small school and a welcoming small city. And between bold dreams and the will to shape a better future. Yes, we believe colleges have an obligation to pursue a higher purpose, to serve the community and the world. And because the spread of knowledge benefits us all, this is a campus committed to embracing diverse beliefs and backgrounds, not to emphasize differences, but to prosper from important perspectives. Perspectives that can overcome uncertainty, indifference, and the impossible. By connecting open minds and tenacious spirits from all walks of life, ours is a culture that believes no challenge is too great to conquer. We are purple and bold. We are Albion College.
So there you are. Shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, my circumstances dictate who I was gonna become. And all of that determination, the commitment, the drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent like me.
Back here at the Kresge Gymnasium, Jim and we've got Ava with us, Ava Smith. Hi, Ava. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good.
Man, we haven't seen you forever.
I know. I miss this. I miss you guys.
Well, we miss you too, and that's why we were happy to see you tonight, and we were happy to bring you up here in the booth at halftime.
Good to be back.
So, how's everything at the college?
It's in full swing, second semester.
Yeah.
Just getting through the year.
There you go. Ava Smith, for anybody that does not know, we've got her picture. There you go. There's the beautiful Miss Smith on screen right now. How's that, huh?
Oh, gorgeous.
5'3" tall, sophomore from Wabash, Indiana.
That's right.
Everything okay with that? Are all those correct? Have you grown an inch or two or anything like that?
We might want to bring that down to 5'2".
Well,
I just do it for the looks.
That's normal, though, isn't it, Jimmy? We say that all the time. Whenever you get to any roster, you
Sports
look at that.
programs are a little bit inflated.
Yeah, and you say, she doesn't look 5'3" to me. She's not an inch over 5'2". Yeah.
You have to be intimidating.
Yeah, that's exactly how you are. For a setter, in a setter's position, though, that's not really. It's really kind of better to be a little lower to the ground in that spot, right?
It comes in handy.
Yeah, it does come in handy that way.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know, Ava was our sideline reporter in the football broadcast this year, and we had a whole lot of fun with Ava this year. It was a little warmer in here, Ava, than it is when you're doing that on the sideline of the football games, isn't it?
Yeah, not so much wind.
Yeah.
A little sweaty in here.
Now, you told me and Jim before the game started today that volleyball's about ready to get started again.
Yes, in about less than 12 hours at 6 a.m.
At 6 a.m.
Yep.
And you know what? I saw your coach a little while ago, and I said, I hear you guys have a 6 a.m. practice, okay? And she said, well, it's voluntary, kind of.
Yeah, we really try to enforce
Come on back
it.
here. We'll put you on camera here.
Oh, man.
How's that, huh? Yeah, Ava's all dressed up and ready to go.
I'm really supporting the Brits.
There you go.
tonight.
Yeah.
Ken's idea if you didn't want to
get-
be on camera, it's Ken's idea.
It's all Kenny's problem over there. How's that? So is this normal for you guys to get started this early with the volleyball program?
Yeah, it is normal to start running and conditioning and getting ready for next season, but our spring season just got moved up a week earlier.
Oh, really?
So that's exciting because we want to get in the gym and we want to start playing.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We're super excited about that.
Now, this was our first year doing volleyball, so spring season, obviously I'm not familiar with the spring season.
So it mostly consists of a length of conditioning and lifting, getting in the weight room, and then we will start actual practice.
Okay.
So that will mostly look like morning practices 3 times a week,
Okay.
something like that, and then we get one spring tournament date.
Oh, okay.
Which is really fun. So Coach always likes to host here, so we're going to host here, and we're going to, I think it's a couple community colleges, some smaller schools that are coming,
Okay.
but good competition, so we like it.
Sure.
It's just us now. You can be honest.
Yeah.
Who really wants to be there at 6 in the morning?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, the time is not my favorite. As we all know, and you guys will learn, I'm not a morning person.
Ah, okay. All right.
So it takes me a minute.
Yeah.
Luckily, I live with Chloe Weber.
Yeah?
So she always comes in and she's like, Ava, are you awake? And I'm like, yeah, like, groggy, trying to wake up.
Yeah.
But we are excited to get in with everyone and just start conditioning and get in shape. So
Yeah.
it pays off. For
It
sure.
does.
Very much.
It does pay off.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
What's the team look like for this next year? Because you graduate. I'm trying to remember seniors on that volleyball team this year.
Yeah, so we graduated Rochelle Hawkins,
Yeah.
Brielle Brown,
Okay.
and Kelsey Gustafson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we lost a few key players, and we're excited. I think we have 5 commits right now.
Okay.
So coach is keeping us updated, and we're really excited to meet new people and get a new team dynamic.
Yeah, that's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting.
And they always like meeting Ava Smith. That's just the, you know what, Miss Personality.
Yes, I try to be the face of Albion Volleyball.
The face of Albion Volleyball. There's no doubt about that. Well, Ava, thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to take a look around the conference and see what the scores are. The men are behind by about 4 here at halftime.
34-30.
So they're going to have to do some work here in the second half up at Alma, aren't they, huh?
Yes. Let's get it in gear.
Otherwise, they are going to have to deal with Ava Smith.
Oh yeah.
Will you meet him at when the bus comes in tonight if they don't take care of business in the second half?
I'm waiting in the parking lot.
Ava, great seeing you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks for stopping by. All right, it's 35-24 at the half here, and the Britons on top. Jim, why don't you take a look around the conference here tonight and see what the ladies are doing here in the MIAA.
We have a final already in the women's basketball for the MIAA. Adrian beats Mount Mary 67-44. Your game here, Albion against Alma 35-24 at the half. The Britons are leading. The Trine St. Mary's Indiana game needs to be updated. It shows still start a pregame at halftime. Hope is leading Calvin 40-22. And also late in quarter number 2, Kalamazoo was winning at Olivet 28-18. So it looks like they'll carry that first half lead into the break. And we'll hop up on the Trine St. Mary's score, Jim, and see if we can't get some live stats to get an update on that score as well.
Yeah, it is a ball game that I'm sure that all the Britons fans are going to be listening for, because obviously the Brits will go to Trine this weekend on Saturday to play a big game down at Trine before they come home to play Calvin and St. Mary's.
And it's a very low-scoring game, Jim. Into the third quarter, it's only 29-17. Trine leads St. Mary's, so very low-scoring game there in Angola, Indiana.
You know, we have seen the St. Mary's program now start to get some legs here in the MIAA. I mean, they have had some troubles. They've been the team kind of on the bottom of the hill quite a bit, but it does seem like this year they're starting to make a few things happen. St. Mary's at 3-2 in the conference and 6-8 overall, so they have not lost touch with anybody in the conference here this early. With a win tonight and a couple more, they're right back in the middle of this MIAA season and this race for the title this year.
Yeah, again, you want to be above 500 at this point in the season. You're starting to see some of these opponents for a second time. You're getting into the dangerous part of the schedule, and by that I mean not only quality opponents, but the fact that they've seen you once, familiar with you. But if you fall too far behind at this point, you know, it's going to be so tough to make up ground, and that's true for the men's side and the women's side. You can't afford to be below 500 and expect your team to go on a run when you were below 500 playing the same teams that you have to play a second time to get to the, to even have a chance to get to the postseason. No
doubt about that. On the men's side tonight, as we said, the men's basketball team from Albion are up at Alma tonight. They're at halftime and they trail by 34-30. I noticed up there too that Caden Ebling had 12 points in that first half. He led all scorers there as the Brits have clawed their way back. They were down by double digits there about the midway point of that first half and were able to claw it back to a 4-point game at the half. Trine leads Adrian at halftime 42-29. Olivet leads Kalamazoo at the start of the second half 46-41. And this Calvin Hope game has got to be a little farther on. They've got them down 7-6, but that is exactly where they are. 7-6 Calvin over Hope on the men's side tonight at the 12:38 mark.
Had to be a late start to that one.
Yeah, it must have been.
The stats I have show it was first half 18:55 to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so it's just must have been like an 8 p.m. start for whatever reason.
12:22 to play in the first half, and Hope now takes an 8-7 lead as Mason Oppel makes a jump shot with 12:20 to play here in that first half. Oppel, the quarterback, an all-league quarterback for the football team at Hope, who also plays guard on their basketball team, and we'll get a chance to see Mason Oppel and his Hope basketball team when they come to Albion here in February, and we will do that ball game on a Wednesday night here from the Kresge Center. So it is an interesting basketball game tonight. Both the teams are back out on the floor. They're warming up and getting ready to go. And we're about a minute and a half out for the start of this second half. Jim, what else is going on around the college campus nowadays?
Winterfest Albion 2020 is coming February 1st. That's a couple weeks from now. Join us for a full day of winter activities in Albion, including the annual Cardboard Classic Sled Race at 10 a.m., the Friends of Albion's Animals Bake Sale from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at yesterday's news, a blues workshop at the Dickerson Music Company from 3 to 5 p.m., and live music featuring the Aston Neighborhood Pleasure Club starting at 7 o'clock at the Albion Malleable Brewing Company. Contact the Greater Albion Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Bureau, 517-629-5533 for more information.
Well, we've got 2 quarters of basketball to play here yet before this was decided tonight, but the Britons with a good job in that second quarter to be able to stretch things out just a little bit, much like they did the first time they met one another there at Alma, as the Britons able to get this 11-point lead to open up quarter number 3, and the Alma Scots will open with the basketball here as we get going in quarter number 3.
And quarter 3, the last time these two teams played, it was very evenly matched. Albion 16-13, a third quarter edge before Alma really came to life in the fourth. They outscored the Brits 17-10 in the fourth quarter the last time.
So Hannah Thielen will inbounds, and she throws the ball to Madison Hill. It is Hill, Thielen, Long, Humphreys, and Brandt to open everything up in a jump ball situation at the free throw line. We'll give the ball back to the Lady Britons.
So much for the alternating possessions. The Scots had the ball for a whopping 7 seconds before the tie ball sends it back the other way.
Getting some stats from that first half, and we'll share those as we go in the quarter number 3 here. 35-24. Larson has the ball blocked and goes out of bounds, and it will stay with the Britons underneath their bucket.
That was Humphreys, the do-all guard out there, the sophomore, not only playing quality minutes, but really making an impact tonight, Jim.
Brits with a late throw-in to Burness, as it's Welker, Larson, Wishmeyer, Hinton, and Burness to open up for the Brits here in quarter number 3. Larson dribbles into the paint, kicks out to Wish, back into Hinton. She'll muscle her way inside, a little bit too hard. Burness pulls down the errant shot and bounces it back up and around and in.
Lucky that one went in too, because if it hadn't, that would have been change of possession right there, because Hinton's shot near the end of the shot clock did not draw iron.
Burness leads everybody now with 12 points. She had 10 in that first half. And Jim, looking at the other side there, 11 for Aretha Humphreys. And we said she kept them in the ball game.
Yes.
We just didn't realize how much.
Yeah, half of their scoring.
Hinton tries to get one off, looking for a foul, didn't get it.
No, and that was just good defense right there.
Scott's on the run, but the Brits back in defense as Larson cut her off. And this one goes out of bounds.
Lost the handle.
Jackie Jarvis looking for a little help from the official, but that one basically just went out off of her hands.
Yeah, 5 points apiece for Larson and Wishmeyer in the first half. Hinton with 6. 10 points for Burness to lead the team. 5 points for Walker, 2 apiece for Burgess and Standley.
So the Britons with a chance now to stretch this to the biggest lead of the night as they're up 13. That matches the biggest lead they've had all night long as Hinton dribbles to the left side.
Be patient, get a good look on this possession.
Welker back to Hinton. She'll take the three-point shot. It's a little bit short. Ball is fought for, but the first person there is Jenny Brandt.
Again, the Brits get back really well on defense, so you're really not going to get a lot of transition looks.
Humphrey got the double team, so she gave the ball up. Ball gets kicked in the corner, and again, Burness right there to guard, but a nice job of dribbling and shooting. And the bucket goes in for Jackie Jarvis.
Jarvis right there gets those 2 steps and then sees the defense closing, so she just throws up the little runner. Soft touch.
Jarvis now with 7 on the evening. Oh, nice job by Wishmeyer to find Amanda Larson cutting low post with nobody around her.
And where they've been the best on offense has been when they've been the most patient. Got that extra pass, had the cutter wide open.
They paid so much attention there on Wishmeyer with the double team. Larson able to sneak herself in for an easy lay-in. Jump shot will also go, and all of a sudden Alma now starting to find a little bit of range as Madison Robbins drops down a three-pointer.
Yep, leave her open. Give them enough chances, Jim. Even a team with an off shooting night's going to be knocking them down at some point.
Robbins only a 19%er from behind the arc, but she got that one, and it was pretty. Now she's down on the floor, and she'll draw the foul as she's, I don't know, doing the swim move, I guess. If you're playing football, I don't know what she was doing down there, but she couldn't get back up.
Well, got a little body bump and then just kind of reached up and grabbed the leg right there. So unable to throw a shot up, would have had a cheap 2-shot foul opportunity.
So the foul will go against Robbins. Hinton working hard underneath. Very patient. The follow away goes in. And I'll tell you what, Rain Hinton is absolutely a load down there in that paint.
And you can't do anything more if you're Jenny Brandt.
Nope.
I mean, she played fantastic defense.
Made her alter the shot a little bit, and Hinton, who pulls down the rebound, was up to the task.
And Jim, if Humphrey starts knocking down threes tonight, my goodness.
Wishmeyer sends it back outside. Hinton looking to drive. Spins.
Yeah, that's your game right there.
Yep.
See if you can get her to cheat up towards the top of the key. If you pick her up and man, then you separate and you force her to guard her all the way down to the basket. And I just don't think Brandt is going to be able to guard her for 15 feet.
I'll tell you what, she and Q have made the biggest moves in the offseason for physicality and speed.
And it's paying dividends.
It is.
I mean, both teams off to a great start.
Quentin Armstrong, got that quick move to the bucket.
Block.
And a rebound to Larson. And Britain's playing some really good defense right now.
Starting to run the Scots out of the gym. You can see the fatigue starting to settle in. Big
Burn
double
is-
coming. Somebody's open. Nah, Rain doesn't need that.
Rain's open, man. Rain says, I'm going back to the left hand.
I don't care if you double. I'm
Yep.
scoring.
I need a couple more points on that stat sheet tonight.
Timeout coming. Yep.
Good timeout, I think, for the Scots as they fall down 16 here early into quarter number 3.
Yeah, because the snowball is starting to roll down the hill, it looks like, Jim.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know what Coach talked about at halftime there, but Brits have come out very aggressively to open up this third quarter and stretch that lead to 16.
Speed and intensity. I think speed and intensity. You're starting to see the Scots aren't playing as deep right now. They're starting to stick with more of a core 5, maybe 6 players. And you're starting to see fatigue and frustration settle in a little bit. And that's when they start making the uncharacteristic mistakes, start taking the bad shots, and maybe start getting a little more lax on the defensive end.
It was 18-14 at the end of one. Britain's on top, and then they got off to a 7-point run there, 17-10 in quarter number 2. Took an 11-point lead into the intermission, and now stretched it back up to 16, the biggest lead of the night.
Want to say hi to Jim Carden from Clinton Township. Says thanks for broadcasting, enjoying the action and commentary. See, Ken, it's not just the camera shots.
There you go, man.
I knew it.
45-29.
Little inside joke, sorry, folks.
Yeah, you got it. It had to have been here on the drive up. How's
Real
that?
estate
Yeah.
joke had to be there.
No doubt. Humphreys with the basketball, and Burness picks her up. Nice screen.
Oh, that's a travel.
But Larson's there to pick her up, and yes, an extra step by Humphreys. She wasn't expecting to have somebody waiting on her when she turned that corner, Jim.
No, when she got a body bump. Now, I don't like flopping, but I'll say it. If she flopped right there, she probably gets a 2-shot foul. Because she did get knocked backwards.
Larson has Thielen in her face. Swings it to Burness. 3-point shot, no good.
That's a bad foul by Rain.
Hinton trying to go over Humphreys, and I'll tell you what, Humphreys is pretty solid all the way around. Great position down there on that low block to get that rebound. And Rain Hinton, with an average person down there, probably is able to tip that out and get that basketball. Humphreys had her blocked out very well.
Bad habit to get into, though, too.
Oh, yeah.
Wanting to reach over that shoulder and try to make something happen.
Couple fouls on Hinton here tonight. Nobody in any foul trouble on either team here midway through quarter number 3. 3-point shot, no good. Hinton tries to pull it down. Lost it on the floor, got it back again.
No numbers, though. Scots get back on defense.
Welker takes her time.
Double
Sets
team
it up.
on Hinton.
Yeah.
Means somebody's open.
Wish is all by herself in the corner. Boy, she wanted that ball about 3 minutes ago. Cross-court pass to Welker. They'll work it around the top.
Now
12
it's
to
Burness.
shoot. Wishmeyer with the three.
I told you, leave me alone, and I'll make you pay. That took a little bit longer than she'd like, but she got the result.
That's a couple for Wish now on the evening, as she is 2 for 2 from behind the arc. 1 for 1 in the first half. Her first long-distance hookup in quarter number 3.
Good step out.
Robinson gives the ball off to Thielen. 7 to shoot. Down in the corner. Back
to the
out
corner.
to Thielen. Back to Robbins, who drives and puts up a wild shot with 1 on that shot clock. And Larson's there to pull in the errant shot. And again, another one of those shots that really didn't even come close.
Nope, but that's just suffocating defense by the Brits.
Both these Britons teams this year playing better defense. Oh, Burness by herself on the baseline. Misses the shot. Rebound comes off to the Scots.
Good job not getting the cheap foul after the miss, too.
Jenny Brandt there to pick that one up.
Errant pass, but soft and go over the half-court line.
Jackie Jarvis able to get to it. Stutter steps down the lane. She'll draw the foul. I think that's Burness that will get that, either Burness or Larson.
Have to get Larson on it.
They'll give it to Larson.
3:07 to play in quarter number 3. The Britons in control, 48-29, but the Scots going to the line for a pair.
Rebecca Ross comes in, and Burness will sit down, and they've 3 substitutions. Stasha Warchuk is one of the young ladies that comes off the bench for Alma. Also 44, Emily Eldridge. And let's see, the young lady sitting on the other side over there that I cannot tell a number here. Number 4, that's Madison Hill.
And Jarvis, only a 44% free throw shooter. Did get 1 of 2.
48-30 now.
Oh, got a sub.
Yep. Rain Hinton will take a seat. Madeline Stanley back in the ball game for the Brits. 3 minutes and counting here in quarter number 3.
The key stretch right here for the Scots. They have to get this back down to closer to about 10 or 12.
Welker looking for some space. Sets up. Sends the 3. No good. Rebound, though, comes off to Ross.
On the arm.
And Jackie Jarvis picks up that foul.
Second team foul only against the Scots. Clean second half so far foul-wise. Only 2 team fouls apiece.
Reset the shot clock to 20. Inbounds for the Brits in the front court.
Like to see him run some clock here, maybe run the Scots through some screens. Tire an already tired team.
Larson kicks it back out to Wishmeyer. Wishmeyer now with 10 has to go to the floor.
Timeout.
And a timeout called by the coach. Good idea.
Yeah. You don't get a cookie in a juice box for saving them to the end. So good timeout right there to save a seemingly doomed possession.
8 seconds on the shot clock as the Britons call the timeout. And yeah, I'll tell you what, Jim, it's been a pretty solid third quarter for the Brits. Like to keep this one going and stretch it just a little more. 18 points is the largest lead of the night for the Britons.
We'll hop back up and see if we can't get an updated men's score here momentarily.
Up there you go, 46-41 Brits. How's that?
I like that score a lot better.
Like that better? 13:29 to play in the second half. You and I were thinking the same way. We've been together long enough nowadays. We have the same thoughts, it seems like. That's scary.
I'll leave the viewer to decide if that's a good thing or not.
Burness kicks it back out front. 3 to shoot, 2 to shoot. Welker with a tough pass cross court, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be Alma's ball.
You can't have that coming out of a timeout right there, though. That possession looked bad before the timeout, and it didn't get much better, unfortunately, for the Brits. Still up 18, but again, these little turnovers are where if the Scots can convert a couple buckets here, it becomes a little bit more tight.
Tight ball game up in Alma, 46-44. Britons on top in the second half.
Body bump. That call will probably go against
Welker.
Amanda Larson.
Larson?
Yep.
And if that's on Larson, I believe that's 3 on Amanda tonight. Don't have that here with us, but I believe that might be her third foul tonight.
12:19 to play in the ball game. Up at Alma, 46-44 Brits. Foul going the other way. This one against Hannah Thielen, Jim.
So the Britons now will inbounds on their end. Right in front of what's here, the crowd here from the student body tonight. Not a huge crowd on hand tonight, but they're pretty active as normal. Ooh. Britons trying to set some things up. Around the screen goes Rebecca Ross.
This is a physical game.
Burness runs out of real estate. She'll kick it back out to Wilker.
Plenty of time. You have to get a good shot in this possession, though.
7 to shoot as Wilker goes left hand, spins down the lane, puts it up, hits the bottom of the backboard. And a jump ball situation with the arrow pointing the opposite direction.
Are they saying shot
no
clock?
Jump ball
Before, yeah.
Yep.
So the possession arrow will actually stay
with Alma.
With yeah. They'll get the next tie ball. 1:42 to play in quarter number 3. Scots are on a serious dry spell right now, but again, only down 18. And they are a good fourth quarter team.
Only scored 6 here in quarter number 3. Ball a little bit too hot to handle. Outside for the three-point shot from Warchuk is no good. Burness there to pull down the rebound.
Brits need a good possession here, Jim. They've been sloppy the last 2 or 3 times down.
Yeah, they really have. Kick the ball down outside to Ross. Burness back into Ross in that corner. She'll set for 3 off the front iron, and the rebound comes off to Alma. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Kind of going backwards on that shot, not forwards. As she takes that step towards that rim, it's got that extra 3 or 4 inches she needs to get over that iron. Under a minute to play in quarter number 3. Show and go. Down the lane goes Eldridge.
Burgess on that one. Go to the line for a pair. 83% free throw shooter on the season is Emily Eldridge. Only 2.5 points a game, but a strong drive there. Chance to cut this lead. First points for a while if she converts.
It has been a while. We don't have any stats to be able to tell you exactly how long.
I would guess at least 4 minutes.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it has
been a while.
It's only 7 so far. Now make it 8 for the entire quarter. And we're down under 49 seconds to play. And they'll put a full court press on the Britons.
Somebody has to be open.
Rain hitting. 22 to shoot, 38 on the game clock. Ball comes back out front, and Welker gets everything set up again. She'll shoot from dead on for 3, no good. And we've got a tumbling match going on in the lane underneath.
They'll get Eldridge, I believe, on the hold right there, taking hitting to the floor.
And I had her wrapped up, didn't want to let her get that offensive rebound. Instead, they end up on the floor here at the Kresge Center as Wishmeyer checks back in for the Britons.
26.9 to play in the quarter, 20 on the shot clock, so they still can't hold for 1, but they can run it down close if they choose to do so.
Burness with a cut to the basketball. Gives it back up to Welker. She'll bring it out front and reset things with 15 to shoot.
Like to see Hinton touch the ball on this possession.
Over to talk to coach for just a minute or 2.
Clear out. Who's going to be your go-to here?
Hinton comes up for the screen. Welker drives and kicks back outside. 1 to shoot, and this is not going to get off in time. Britain's going to have to work on that just a little bit because they've had about 3 trips down now where they've had that opportunity to set things up. Can't make that, get that shot off even the last 2 times. Hinton will sit down now. Stanley will come in for the last 5 seconds here of the quarter. Give her just a little bit of a break. Keep her away from any real ticky-tack fouls. Jump shot will be good if it goes, but it's a little bit to the right of the rim, and Madison Hill will be unsuccessful as the buzzer sounds for quarter number 3 with the Britons on top by 16. 48-32 here on the Britain Sports Network.
50-46. About midway through the second half, the Britons on the men's side lead Alma. 10:53 to play in the contest.
Don't forget, webcast at albion.edu is how you can tell us where you are tonight. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know what you think of the ball game. Give us a weather report. I don't know. Just say hello. I'll tell you, the other night on the men's game, we were just wall to wall with emails. Just get in and email us at webcast@albion.edu. Tell us who you are, where you are, who you're rooting for tonight if you're out there enjoying the ball game.
Unseasonably warm winter weather.
Yeah, no
here
doubt
in
about
Michigan.
that.
Usually when we have precipitation this time of year,
Yeah.
coming up here, especially these evening games on the weeknights, we head back home, and it's snow and ice on the road, so we're very fortunate. We have precip tonight that it's just rain, and it's nice enough that we don't have to worry about that tonight.
Check and see if we can find some scores for you there on the women's side of the ledger tonight as I'm pulling that up. Yeah, I got to go to the MIAA, though. Going to the GoBrits.com is not going to work very well, Jim. You hit the wrong one. Fat fingers, they call that. How's that? Women's basketball at the MIAA level as the Alma Scats will get a chance to put this one in play to open up quarter number 4. They'd like to make a run. Obviously, the Brits like to cool them off just a little bit. And that three-point shot might just heat things up a little bit here at the Kresge as Jackie Jarvis knocks that one down. And this is about as close as we've been for a while. 13 points. Burness goes through the double team. Welker slides it down inside. Ball will go out off of the Alma Scats. Everybody in the gym right now wants a little bit of a foul called on that one, but Rebecca Ross picks herself up off the floor.
A lot of contact, but this has been a sneaky, physical kind of game.
Wishmeyer, turnaround, hook shot.
That's
good.
a big basket right there.
Been a while since the Brits have found pay dirt here.
Yeah, they were stuck on 48 for a while, and the Scots were starting to feel like they were going to start clawing their way back into this game. They may still do that.
Trying running away from St. Mary's now, 50-24. There's another triple, and all of a sudden Jackie Jarvis has found her direction and her aim and her distance here at the Kresge Center.
Good trap.
Double team and a jump ball situation. They'll call it on Jarvis, and the ball will go back over to the Britons. It'll be actually Britons basketball. Let's
but again,
see.
that's just great heads-up defense right there by the Scots.
Hope late in the third quarter leading Calvin 48-35 in women's basketball. Kalamazoo on top of Olivet late third quarter 39-30. Welker gets to Wishmeyer. Brits need to make a couple of buckets here.
Got a nickel dimer on Madison Hill right there on the arm. Aggressive defense right there. The Scots are going to go on a push right here. Best thing you can do if you're the Brits is just try to trade basket for basket, or at least every other basket for basket, because you know they're strong, they're going to make a run.
If you could string 3 or 4 in a row right here, you could probably put this bad boy away.
Scots could easily do the same thing though, Jim.
Yep.
And make this a single-digit game, and that would make things dicey.
That would make things dicey, you're right. Hinton cuts through the double team at the rim, won't go in. Rebound fought for, comes off to the Scots.
Good defense.
Madison Hill brings it down.
That's a double dribble right there, missed.
Lost her handle just a smidge. From the free throw line, a little bit wide. Rebound comes off to the Britons, Rebecca Ross.
Now you wonder if that was kind of their quote-unquote best shot.
Yeah, you
in terms of the puncher's chance of getting back in. Did they just weather the storm? I think the Scots have at least one more good run in them, so the Britons need to answer here with a couple of good buckets.
Hinton gives the basketball off to Ross. Back out front to Burness. Thought about going to Hinton, but she was pretty well wrapped up. Jump shot for Wish from 3. Hey, I'll tell you what, Evelyn Wishmeyer is 3 for 3 tonight from distance. And the Brits go back up on top by 15.
Yep. The offense has been kind of driven through Rain Hinton for a while now, so Wishmeyer reminding people that she's a pretty good scorer herself.
Jarvis runs out of real estate. Look out. The young lady from Detroit, Aretha Humphreys, took an extra step or two before she decided to put the ball on the floor. Not happy about everything, but I think she saw a wide open lane. She wanted to get there a little quicker than what she was able to.
Susan Aronson watching from Zeeland, Michigan says, go Brits.
Rebecca Ross, double team in the corner, and a timeout for the Britons. They want to talk things over.
Got caught in no man's land down there.
So the
you got them to use. Might as well use them.
Yep, you might as well use them tonight. 7:35 to play. Webcast at albion.edu. Get up and send us an email. I believe that Aronson name is familiar. It's a familiar
That's what
name
I
there
was
from Football Saturday Afternoons, if I remember right.
Mitchell?
I believe so. Maybe she'll tell us exactly. Not sure. Mom, grandma, aunt, sister, who knows?
Relation.
Some sort of Aronson out there, and there are not enough of them out there for it to be a coincidence, I think. How's that, huh?
We'll certainly do appreciate tuning in and appreciate the ties to Britain Nation. And again, GoBrits.com is where you get all your information for Albion College winter sports, albion.edu, for all the information about Albion College and their excellent academic programs and excellent study and growth opportunities. This is a fantastic school, Jim.
It really is.
Fantastic campus and great people.
Hope starting to pull away from Calvin now, just underway in the fourth quarter, 55-40 now for the Lady Dutch.
59-48, 7:46 to play in the second half. The men lead at Alma now by 11.
That's good to hear, too. Kalamazoo on top of Olivet on the women's side, 41-33 as the Britons put the ball in play with 16 to shoot. Burness has
Nice
Humphreys
spin.
on her, spins down.
There you go.
Nice little bounce pass over to Rain Hinton. And Rain Hinton says, that's the easiest shot I've had all night.
Patience pays off.
Yes, it does.
It's paid off all night when they've been patient. But Scots have played some scrappy defense.
17 up for the Brits right now as that shot is a little bit wide because it's altered. Madison Hill misses that one. Burness to Hinton. Hinton stops, pops. Wow. Rain Hinton starting to really get to be a basketball player.
And that's the last thing the Scots can afford to have happen right now. For him to get about 2 or 3 in a row like this.
19 now is the biggest lead of the night.
Incidental.
As we had Jarvis on the floor here at the Kresge.
Nice up.
Thielen with a nice move to bounce it off the backboard and in. Hannah Thielen as the Britons face a little full-court pressure.
I was going to say, don't get caught on the sideline.
Easy stuff. Wishmeyer brings to the front court.
Scots have forced them into that, and they've had to burn a few timeouts because of it.
Welker with a little pick. Back out to Burness.
There you go.
Straight on to Wishmeyer, and Wish says, yep.
Squared up, cleared out. That's a warm-up shot right there.
Easy stuff right there. I hit 5 of those in a row, says young Miss Wishmeyer. 60-40. 20-point ball game now for the Britons as Jarvis drives and leaves it short. Welker pulls it down.
We got confirmation that Susan is Mitch's mom.
Well, there you go.
Thank you so much for clarifying that.
3-point shot, no good, but Burness is there to pull it back down. Right back up to the rim, no good. Rain Hinton fights for the ball. She knocks it out off of Jarvis, and it'll be Britain's basketball.
Also have another email from Tanya Oberkaiser, Jim, Rain's mom, watching from Woodburn, Indiana, near Fort Wayne. So I love it.
Yeah, good to have you out there. Love watching Rain Hinton play basketball.
Oh. She's certainly one of the finest in the MIAA, Jim.
Wishmeyer fighting her way down that rim off the glass, and Wish all of a sudden just can't miss. Whether it's from downtown or close, Wishmeyer makes it a 22-point spread now.
And I think the help defense that was there earlier, this is fatigue right now.
Britain showing why they are one of the top teams in the MIAA. Jump shot for Humphreys is no good.
I'm so impressed with that young lady, though. Everything coming out of her hand looks like it's going to drop.
Larson pulled it down. They go the other end.
Got a foul.
Rain Hinton wasting no time to go after Aretha Humphreys on that baseline.
Yep, she didn't like the call, but she definitely got the arm.
And again, you can see him kind of breathing heavy and grabbing for some air right now, Jim. You're right.
They're not subbing as deep in the second half as they were in the first half. They're trying to make up that deficit, but all it's doing is it's gassing the team.
Rain Hinton knocks down the first free throw. And the biggest lead now of the night is 23. Second one on its way, bounces in, bounces out. Rebound comes off to Emily Eldridge.
Intercept.
Wishmeyer saw it coming. Burness in a triangle. She's going to attack the rim. She's got it.
1 on 3. Take it anyway.
Sasha Warchuk grabbed the arm as Burness cut the double team, as you see the replay.
Watch this. Drive strong. Knows she's going to get contact. Steps right through it. And if you're not going to really stop her, you're going to play right through that. And that's a strong up and an and one opportunity.
Emily Burness measures and fires, and she'll come to the bench after that 3-point play.
61-48, the men lead at Alma.
There you go.
5:27 to play in the contest.
Liking the scores on both the scoreboards when it comes to the Britons and Alma tonight.
Almost the same on both sides.
Britain's doing their Wednesday night business in the MIAA.
Have to.
Ooh, a little bit of stutter there on Madison Robbins, but they let her get away with it. Humphreys drives, fights through the double team. I'll tell you what, every now and then you bounce them up in that square and they go in, and that's what she did.
Wrong-footed, shooting across her body right there, but she just had a tremendous night.
Yeah, again, this is a young lady as a sophomore. That you're going to hear some things out of in the next couple of years. She has some talent, no doubt about that. Wish, looking for somebody to throw it to. Finally misses a very tough shot with a double team.
Good hands.
Welker saw it coming.
Slow it down.
Larson back to Welker, and they'll bring it to the front court.
And now the full court pressure that they were given before isn't there anymore. Tired legs out there.
Yep.
Tough team, but tired legs.
Playing hard. Larson kicks it in the corner to Wishmeyer. Thought about taking that three-point shot. Dribbles and passes between the legs with Ross. Ball gets stolen away.
But again, the defense gets back and no transition opportunity.
Humphreys thought about it. Dribbles and finds a double team. Then throws it away. Here it comes, Rebecca Ross, coast to coast for the easy lay-in.
Timeout for subs.
And Humphreys, I think, in the second quarter probably gets back and at least contests that shot, but was a step or two short as you see this replay here on the Britain Sports Network.
Going to have Burgess and Burness checking in after the timeout for the Brits. And again, I think you've asked all you can ask from these young ladies for the Scots, but because they haven't played as deep a bench in the second half, not to make excuses, because a well-prepared, well-coached team, these young ladies, but they've been really taken to the limit tonight.
Yeah,
the Brits have just kind of outrun them. And you need to do that. I mean, that
was the intention. I'm sure when we talked to Coach after the ball game, that was probably the game plan. Get them out and put the pedal to the metal. Kalamazoo on top of Olivet here with 6:05 to play in the game, 49-37 in other MIAA basketball.
And Jim, 69-50, the men have extended their lead to almost 20. It's now 69-53 actually, but only 3:19 to play. So the Britain men look like they are closing in on another victory for Coach Jody May. And again, a great continuation to an excellent season start by both the men and the women tonight.
Hope ladies up by 22 over Calvin now with 4:12 to play at Hope, 64-42.
Nice step through.
And an easy lay-in. Nice job there. Madison Robbins not ready to give up yet tonight with 3:04 to play.
But a good job by the defense right there not to get that cheap and one foul.
Tiffany Burgess into the ball game for the Britons. And the Britons, I would think, would be very patient right now. 18 to shoot. Larson tries to feed it inside. Ball gets tipped around. 10 seconds to shoot now.
Doesn't reset.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And a foul and an offensive charge will go against Rebecca Ross.
Looked like Eldridge was almost in that semicircle under the basket, but was saying she was just outside. As you see, again, the shot clock drawing near an end, and she was just outside that circle.
If there's one negative tonight at all for the Britons, it is those situations. They've had a half a dozen or so of them tonight where they've had to fight that shot clock deep into that shot clock and either have not gotten a good shot off or gotten a shot off at all as that ball gets knocked out of bounds and will stay with the Brits. But past that, Jim, it's been a pretty solid performance all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, good defense like the Scots will show you, a very scrappy, aggressive defense. They're going to force you to make some errors. Now, they did turn the ball over on their own a bit in the first half. They've cleaned that up here in the second half a little bit. But the Scots defense is certainly to credit for at least some of that play.
Britain's going to bring some subs in here in the latter part of the game as Burness puts one over Emily Eldridge.
She is not getting down the court 100%. She looks like she's favoring one of those legs. You see a big brace on the right knee.
70-44 as the Britons cruising their way to a win tonight in the MIAA. Under 2 minutes to play as Rain Hinton steps in.
That goes off of number 30, Hannah Thielen.
Here comes the subs. Mackenzie Domingue, Madeline Stanley.
It's good timing for Burness right there, Jim, while you're picking up that third number, because she is definitely not 100% coming off the floor. So typical bumps and bruises, I think.
I think that's probably all it is. Nicole Sweetland, the third player in off the bench, and Sweetland has the basketball right now.
Sweetland, a lefty, so something else to kind of guard.
Ball shot, no good. Rebound fought for, picked up by the Lady Scots.
Man, speed, fresh legs for the Brits. Again, still no transition opportunities.
Hannah Syme is the young lady that just checked in for Alma. That one kind of off the hands of Stasha Warchuk. Wild shot up, no good. Rebound fought for, and I do believe we've got a young lady that kind of bumped her head on the floor down here underneath that bucket.
And I did not like the way she stayed there for a second, Jim.
Emily Eldridge, who is up and moving right now, but boy, she did.
That's scary, because those hands kind of went frozen to that waist for a moment, and the kind of the parent in me came out instead of the broadcaster. That was that was a scary thing. As she'll take a seat and they'll make sure she's okay. And she got up and said, "I'm okay."
Yep.
But that's what you expect the young ladies to say.
Yeah, you always do.
They're tough, and they're going to say, "No, I'm all right. I'm all right."
I think that ponytail helped her. It used to help me a lot when I hit my head like that on the floor, you know.
Hey, dude.
Back in the day.
Whatever helps. But boy, that's some scary stuff right there.
No, that was, and it's good to see her able to get over to the sideline without a problem there. Jessie Jordan checked in for her on that timeout. Now we're under a minute to play in the ball game.
Got a block on the way up, but got a little bit of the arm as well, did Madison Robbins. Freshman from St. John's, Michigan, commits the foul and will send Rebecca Ross to the line. And Ross a 59% free throw shooter.
Britons at 71 now, heading towards their season average of 77 points per game. And now make it 72.
74-53 on the men's side with 104 to play. So
that's good news.
Almost the exact same score on both games.
Well, you know, I saw the men up here about a month ago as a three-point shot falls for Jessie Jordan, who just checked in. And they were playing Case Western that afternoon. That Saturday afternoon, had the same kind of problems with Case in the first half, and then was able to run away from the young fellows from Case Western in the second half. And they doing the same thing against the Scots tonight up at Alma.
And no shot clock means no defensive pressure, means dribble it out and shake hands. This one belongs to the Brits.
Britons will win this one tonight, 72-47 on the Britain Sports Network. And boy, what a ball game tonight for the ladies. It was a nail biter early, Jim, but I'll tell you what, that second quarter, the Brits kind of put the pedal to the metal, and they never looked back.
And it's just uncanny. We mentioned it a few times in the broadcast, how the second quarter just has not been kind to the Alma Scots. The last time these two teams played, it was a dominant second quarter by the Brits, and the offense for the Scots just disappeared. And it happened again tonight. Second quarter was tough, and also the stretch in the third quarter, early in the third quarter, where they just could not get the offense going the way they wanted.
Tell you what, it was 18-14 at the end of the first quarter tonight with the Britons on top. Then they went on a 17 run in quarter number 2 and made it 35-24 at the half. And at that point in time, things just started going the Britons' way. And the final tonight, 72-47. We'll get Coach up here shortly and get a chance to talk to Doreen.
74-53 on the men's side with about a minute to play.
That's always good news, too. Take a look around the ladies' side on my end, and you can take a look at the men's side on your end. As we said, the women already, Adrian beats Mount Mary today 67-44. Trine, we'll get a better update right now. Trine 64-37, winning over St. Mary's with just 36 seconds left to go in that one. So an easy ball game for Trine. Calvin and Hope, they had the late game here tonight for some reason. Don't know exactly what caused that to slow down. But now Hope just absolutely blowing Calvin out of the gym, 73-45 with about a minute to go in that basketball game as well. And the only other game then that we're looking at is Olivet and Kalamazoo. And that is a 53-46 lead for Kalamazoo with just under 3 to play in that basketball game. So wrapping everything up here as we go into the post-game show here on the Britain Sports Network. And I'll tell you what a ball game this one was today. 72-47, the Britons beat the Scots tonight. So the Britons will go to a 13-2 mark now. And the Scots will fall to 7-9 on the season. And it's just another win tonight for the Britons. We will basically have the opportunity to come back here and see them in 2 weeks when we come back into town. The Britons here tonight will now pack their bags and they'll head towards Trine for the weekend for a Saturday game. They'll be back next Wednesday night, and we'll be here on Wednesday night when they host Calvin, and then they will host St. Mary's on Saturday afternoon. For the Alma Scots, they'll take off and go play the Lady Flying Dutch from Hope there on Saturday afternoon, so things don't get easier for the Lady Scots. And then they'll be home for a doubleheader with Adrian next Wednesday and Olivet next Saturday. So that's how these two teams will play out. And as I said, we'll be back here next Wednesday night. Should be a good ball game between the Lady Brits and Calvin.
On the women's side, Jim, the final, as we mentioned before, Adrian defeats Mount Mary 67-44. Trine is about to wrap up a victory over St. Mary's, Indiana. They are up 66-37 with just a few ticks left on the clock in the fourth. Also late in the fourth, Hope is beating Calvin 73-45. And with about 2 and change left in the fourth, Kalamazoo is leading at Olivet 53-46. On the men's side for the Brits, looks like they're about to wrap up a victory. However, the live stats are frozen at 1:04 to play.
There you go.
And so I think kind of
in suspense,
delaying the inevitable as it's a 21-point advantage. You certainly never say never in Division III college basketball, especially in the MIAA, but I think a 21-point lead with a minute to play is safe.
I've not seen many people that have choked up a 21-point lead with that amount of time. Now, NBA, maybe.
You could put 5 Reggie Millers on that floor and you're not erasing a 21-point deficit with a minute to play.
I would have to agree with you, Jimmy. So it looks like the men are going to go to 13-2 here on the season tonight with a big win over there. So that's a good sign for the men who are doing a really good job. And we'll have Coach with us here in just a minute after a big win tonight. And we'll want to probably move this thing back towards the sign as we will be on camera.
Make sure we're centered and we're presentable.
Got to be centered, got to be looking. I'll tell you what, it looks like Coach has done some work in the offseason as well. You know what? Look at this. There she comes. Hi, Doreen. How are you? Good, man. You're looking good. You know what? We have made a comment about Quentin Armstrong already in the transformation that he has made. Okay. Rain looks like she's lost some weight and everything. And you look like you're the person who set it all up. You must be the trainer nowadays. We need to move you over here because the people on the screen need to be able to see. Look at this.
They want to see Coach. They don't want to see us. So I may just kind of.
I'm on this new health kick, and I lost a ton of weight, get back in shape.
Yeah.
My husband's on it. So
you're
health
both.
Coach, so anybody interested, just
all right. What's your secret?
It's called Optavia. It's a program that I'm on.
Okay, and what does that all consist of here? Because
it's like foolproof. So honestly, if you follow it, you're gonna lose weight.
Okay.
And it's like you eat 6 times a day. 5 of them are called fuelings. They'll give you bars, shakes, whatever you want, and then you have to make one meal, which is super easy because I don't have time. So everything's on the go, and then I have to make one meal.
Yeah.
And that's it. You eat 6 times, and you're always in fat burn, and you're burning, and it's easy. So
man.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to figure this out because I was just in a weight loss contest here this last year.
Yeah.
All right. I lost 14 pounds.
Awesome.
How's that?
Awesome.
But
the key is on this, I haven't worked out one time. You don't work out because you're taking so few calories. So if you don't want to work out, I feel better now than when I did work out. So that's the crazy thing about this whole thing I'm on. So
what do you eat? carrots or
No,
what?
bars, shakes. They have food for you. You can eat.
Really?
Yeah, I ate 6 times. I ate a lot.
Wow, I'll tell you what. Now I eat 6 times. I ate six times on the way up here tonight. Yeah. Now let's
What you
see.
eat, right.
It was a double a quarter pounder with cheese. Okay, and
Slight difference, I think, between the two. Though.
Just a little bit. How's that?
Just a little
Hey,
bit.
you've got to be happy with the way the ladies are playing this year, and also tonight, man. What a good ball game you guys put in tonight.
Yeah, I was proud for tonight. I mean, we played. It was tough there. We came away with a win, but they're so scrappy. You never know. And I was just glad we came out and played well at home. That's what we needed.
Yeah.
So we're playing well, and we just got to keep winning, doing little things right.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
For sure.
Well, talk to me a little bit, because since we saw you last, somebody's gotten their 300th win of their career. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of milestones this year. Me, Emily Burness had 1,000 points last game.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit 1,000. So
Yeah.
milestones this year.
I'll tell you what, and this has been a fun year to follow you from afar. The first time that we've gotten a chance to actually see you in person.
I know. Awesome. Thank you.
But oh my gosh, it's been a good team. You guys have played some pretty good basketball. You went over to a kind of a tough gym here a couple of weeks ago and almost pulled one out against Hope.
Yeah, that was tough. Didn't play well at all. Second half, our kids came, really believed, had a chance to win, and lost at the buzzer.
Yeah.
So, and then right now they're like third. So I mean, in the country. So I mean, I know our kids know they can play, and we just moved up to top 24 in the country. So
Yeah.
we're top 25, which again, that's why it made me a little bit nervous today. Puts a little bit more pressure on you.
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, how did you take that pressure here tonight? Because it could very easily, with Trine coming up, it could have very easily been a trap game tonight.
I know, for sure. And I thought the same thing, and we didn't talk about it much. I didn't want to, and our kids honestly played through it, and we haven't been in this position in a long time to be like, a top 25 team. So I'm proud of how our kids played, and again, we just got to worry about us and keep just playing our game.
Yeah.
Now, Coach, look back at the last game you played against the Scots and this game as well.
Yeah.
Second quarter has just been kind of an anomaly, and we're left kind of scratching our heads that the Brits played tremendous second quarter both times, and the Scots offense really kind of hit a wall there, and I have to credit a lot of that to the defense of your team. But what is it about that second quarter in this matchup where you seem to kind of find your stride and pull ahead a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know, and maybe it's just. And again, we've been pressing. We didn't press much this game just because they kind of broke it easy and gave up easy baskets. They weren't scoring a lot of points, so I thought, we need to make them work in the half court. So that's kind of we pulled that up. But usually it's just because, we wear them down a little bit. And I think our kids, maybe just getting into the flow. We always have slow starts, but maybe that second quarter for us is now once we get in the flow, we start playing a little bit better. So.
And the Scots also threw 2, 3, and 4 different defenders against Rain down in the low block tonight.
Yeah.
But it really says something about the quality of her as an athlete and a basketball player, that she was able to kind of play through those early frustrations and still put a really good game together.
Yeah, and she's been getting a lot better, especially against Jenny Brand. She's like 6'3", 6'4", so she's finding ways to finish around the big kids. And it's just tough for her because, they usually triple team her, double team her. Every time it goes in, they're digging it out. So she's got she works hard, but, it's nice to have an inside presence and then kids on the outside, too, because it's almost like you got to pick your poison with some of our kids out there, which is nice.
Yeah, because, you have 3, 4 different solid scorers on the floor at any time. So if they want to double Rain, somebody like an Emily or an Evelyn is going to be open, and they're going to make them pay for it.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought Rain's doing a better job of passing the ball out, knowing when to, when not to, not forcing so much stuff. But once she settles in and slows down a little bit, I think she could score, against anybody. That's how good she's gotten, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And she obviously has put a lot of work in this off season this year too.
Yep.
A lot quicker step when she makes that little cut on that low post.
For sure, just a lot better baby hook stuff, just stuff around the basket, doing different moves around the basket, so it's not just the same, drop step, lower shoulder into people. She's actually trying to make moves, to stay on the floor, so she's not in foul trouble.
I'll tell you what, this team that you have also goes a little deeper. It looks like this year even.
Yeah, we've got a lot of freshmen that's been playing a lot for us. Today probably not so much, but we do. We have a lot more of a bigger bench than we have in the past, which is nice. There are a lot of young kids, so a lot of growing pains, but they're getting a lot of minutes and they're doing well.
They really are. I think you wore these guys out tonight, Coach.
I think so too.
You really did. That fourth quarter, there were a lot of young ladies from Alma that were not as quick getting back on defense as they were in that first half.
Yeah, and we didn't press them, which is weird because usually that's when they wear out. So it was good. It was good to see. They were bringing a lot of energy early, so it made me a little nervous, but I'm glad our kids came out and just kind of countered that.
Take us to Saturday. You're going to Trine. It's got to be a big ball game Saturday afternoon.
For sure. I mean, the nice thing is we played there earlier this year in a tournament, not against Trine, but we won 2 games, so we can win on that floor.
Yeah.
It's nice that our kids won there. But yeah, they've been tough for us the last few years, so I mean, it's going to be a battle, that's for sure. But I'm hoping our kids go in with a lot of confidence that, and because anything can happen. We just got to play. We just got to play our game.
Yeah. You've had a great season and I think a good season to build for this conference. You took them out to Texas for a couple of games and played extremely well out of Texas, okay? You went over to, as you said, to Angola and played at Trine for a couple of times. So, this MIAA thing is kind of old hat.
Yeah, for sure. We were trying to play a little bit tougher non-conference. And the Texas, UT Dallas was top 25, so going in there, that would have been a huge win for us. And we were up the whole game and just couldn't find a way to finish at the end. So
wow.
Played 2 good teams, lost to 2 very good teams that could have gone either way, but we live and learn, and they remember that. But yeah, it definitely has got us prepared for the league, that's for sure.
Yeah. And what does it say about the MIAA that you have 2 teams in the coaches poll top 25 and the 3rd team Trine that won the conference last year and hosted?
And Kelvin's even better.
This is a really good conference.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. And it's great to have 2-3 teams in there because hopefully we can get to the tournament. But it's a real tough team or league for sure.
Yeah.
There's always. Hope's always up there, top 10. Trine's been in the past, so it's tough.
Yep.
Try to tell everybody else that.
No doubt about that.
It's good to get some kind of recognition.
No, it really is. And you guys are playing really good basketball. We'll be back next Wednesday night for the Calvin game.
Awesome.
So we're looking forward to that one. That should be a very good basketball game.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, go get one at Trine, okay? Yeah. And because you look the way you do now, go get a sandwich, will you? Huh? That's what we always say. There's a lot of skinny guys. There's a couple guys on that, Cortez Garland needs a Sammy, you know what I mean? Yeah. He needs a couple of pounds on him, okay? You're almost to that point now where you need a couple of pounds on you, Coach. How's that? Go grab a Sammy and enjoy this win tonight, will you?
What was it, Big Mac?
Yeah, Big Mac, quarter pounder. Yeah, exactly. All those kind of things would be good. Doreen, thank you. Congratulations on the win tonight. We will see you next Wednesday, okay?
I appreciate it.
No problem. Good to see you. Doreen Carton, as we close everything out tonight, the Brits win 72-47 tonight. Thanks to all the folks here at Albion that are always so good to us to help us and get the stats and get us set around. Thanks to our buddy Ken Reeker, who twists all the knobs and pushes all the buttons over here. For Jim Bellamy, I'm Jim Funderburg. The Brits are victorious tonight, 72-47 over the Alma Scots. We'll wrap it up here on the Brit Sports Network.